Coming up on the Sports Desk, things are heating up in Southern California, and while most of us are chanting "Suns out, guns out" in preparation for Memorial Day, some crews are digging for a whole different reason to celebrate the holiday. That includes all the action on the base paths, where plenty of teams splash some leather under the late spring sun. Everybody starts tournament play with a clean slate, where it's live to die another day, but which team is able to fight on and remain the last Torrance ball club alive? All that's coming up today and more right here on the Sports Desk. Hey there, Torrance. Welcome to another week with us right here on the Sports Desk. I'm your host, Wan Hernandez. So, the South Bay is synonymous with volleyball. Mostly beach volleyball, of course, but that's never stopped South Bay schools from pumping out some of the most competitive prep volleyball teams in all of Southern California. And right here in Torrance this spring, we got to see one such team catch fire in the month of May. Trailing Del Rey League foe Cathedral, the Bishop Montgomery Knights jumped into CIF play as the number 2 seed in the Division 4 bracket. What'd they do with it? Only blast through the first 3 rounds of the playoffs without losing a single set. So, what happens when a team gets used to playing from the front all the time? Sweeping your playoff opponents doesn't exactly turn up the pressure, so Jenny Phillips checked in on the Knights' semifinal matchup against St. Margaret's to see if anybody could back the black and gold into a corner.
Bishop Montgomery Knights hosting St. Margaret's tonight for the CIF semifinal. First set, Bishop battling hard, but unable to overcome a very composed St. Margaret's. They drop this one 25-23. Second set, Bishop doesn't come out with enough energy again, and St. Margaret's puts them away 25-15. The Knights hit a big hole here, heading into a must-win set. Third set, Knights finally find their groove. They get energized, and the rowdy crowd, the largest of the season, keeps their momentum going. Eddie Sprecht tallies 6 kills and 4 aces in the set to lead Bishop to a 25-21 win. Fourth set, still do or die for the Knights. They're riding a lot of momentum though, and with the backing of the energetic crowd, they take this one with ease, 25-15. Now tied up at 2 sets apiece, winner of this one goes to the CIF Championship. After trailing at first, the Knights go on a 12-1 run to finish off the set 15-8 and win the match, sending them to the ship.
So the Knights don't just lose their first set of the playoffs, they drop the first 2 in about as dramatic fashion as you can imagine, earning that celebration on their home court with senior Eddie Sprecht leading the way, 28 kills and 5 aces on the evening. So, in a matter of a week, 34 teams dwindled down to 2. And what 2 might they be? Well, as fate would have it, in order for the Knights to hang a CIF championship banner in their gymnasium, it'd have to come after beating the one team that gave them fits all spring. It wasn't an unfamiliar foe. It wasn't even a team they'd just run into from another part of SoCal in regional tournaments. The last time Bishop Montgomery Volleyball has played for a CIF championship, 1996. They've never won the whole shebang, and the one team standing between the Knights and history, their own division opponent. The team ranked higher than Bishop in the Division 4 bracket, and the one team they haven't seemed to have an answer for all year. Off to Camino College they go, the Phantoms holding on to an undefeated set streak, even longer than the one the Knights had earlier in the playoffs. The number 1 seed had yet to lose a single set in the tournament, so Bishop gets to work early in the day to change that. They come back from a late 6-point deficit to fight off 2 set points and narrowly miss starting off the final, doing something no one else in Division 4 could pull off the last 2 weeks. A crushing 29-27 loss in that first frame sets the tone for the final. The Knights would eventually take a set from Cathedral, setting them apart as the only playoff team to steal at least 1 from the Phantoms, but with their backs against the wall, again this time, it was too little, too late, as Bishop Montgomery misses out on their chance to win a first ever CIF crown in boys volleyball. Probably even more frustrating, the Knights go 0-for-3 against the Phantoms in Del Rey League and playoff matches this season. 3-1 the score in each matchup, the same fate every time. So the Knights end a great season, a huge hot streak in the playoffs, but run into the same wall that was in front of them all year long in the Cathedral Phantoms. All right, everybody, coming up after the break, more CIF playoffs to come. The Knights were the talk of the town for a minute, but don't forget, we were waiting for the action to get started on the diamond. That's coming up next.
I want to leave him, but I just can't do that to the kids.
I keep finding her chatting with this guy online. Even though she says they're friends, something's up.
He tells me it's no big deal, but it hurts so bad when I catch him looking at those pictures.
Stand strong. No matter what you're going through, there is hope at the end of the line.
Focus on the family. How can we help?
They fought for social change. They fought against tyrants. They fought for human rights. Yet behind these achievements are individuals who waged a more personal war. They fought the struggle against mental illness, and they won.
We are this close.
We're this close.
We are this close of wanting to making history.
This close to changing the world.
We are this close.
This close. This close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease
Ever again. This close.
We are this close to ending polio.
Ending polio. All we need is you.
This close.
If we don't act now, we may lose this chance forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolionow.org.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another segment with us right here on the Sports Desk. Last week, we chatted a little about the premier softball rivalry in town between the Torrance Tartars and the North High Saxons, two teams with perennial powerhouse rosters. They travel around Southern California and sometimes the rest of the country, taking on the best of the best, and then Pioneer League games start and they just beat up on each other. Come this regular season, the Tartars had the Saxons' number though, topping them in a Woodbridge tourney and at Wilson Park in late April to take control of the league lead heading into the final game of the season. Then, on North Senior Night nonetheless, the two squads played a third and final one-run game, this time in favor of the Saxons, giving North their third consecutive league title and leaving the Tartars in second place behind their biggest rival. And the consequence was no small feat. A first-round game in the CIF playoffs against another strong South Bay softball team, the Mira Costa Mustangs.
Coach Don Galvich and the Tartars get off to a rough start against Mira Costa. Top of the second, Brittany Ware blasts one over the fence and show around the bases, putting Mira Costa on top. Torrance pitcher Christina Washington trying to figure out how to stop the bleeding. Still, in the second, very next batter, Yulufa Leilua hits it to the same spot for a solo home run. Mira Costa up 7-0. Torrance would get on the board in the bottom of the sixth with Cece DaCosta's RBI double to make it 7-1 Mira Costa. But that would be it for the Tartars as they make an early playoff exit.
Aside from the one inning, it was a tight game. Our pitchers got into trouble a little bit, and we just couldn't stop the bleeding, and it just seemed to compound itself and got worse and worse. And so, that's been our problem all year. We've had one bad inning a game, and rather than being a 25-win team, that's why we're a 20-win team. So, and we're going home early.
This is kind of like a setback for us. We're not used to not going further, so we'll probably learn from it. Next year we have a lot of incoming freshmen. We lost a lot of seniors. Hopefully that doesn't hurt us.
Thanks for that, Letitia. So that brutal second inning rally does the Tartars in, and their season is put to bed by another local South Bay squad. So the big inning writes their fate. No help from the offense though. 8 hits, never a bad tally on the day, but they're all scattered too far and few between to get things going in the 7-1 ball game. And of course, that leaves us all wondering how the North Saxons fared on their end of the bracket. Besides, their stealing the Pioneer League from Torrance was a huge advantage heading into the playoffs. Torrance got the second Pioneer League seed in the Division III bracket and drew a strong Mira Costa team. With the number 1 seed, however, the Saxons would have the opportunity to take on a wild card winner. Sitting back and watching their low-seeded first-round opponent win a game 48 hours earlier just to get into the playoffs. Should make for a sure bet, right? But who did the Saxons end up with in that first-round game? Of course, it was another South Bay school. Peninsula wins their wild card matchup to get the bid against the Saxons, and they drive down from the hill, steal one from the Pioneer League champs. 4-1 the score here, and North High makes it a clean sweep for the two Torrance Pioneer League teams in the first round of this year's playoffs. 2 disappointing and uncharacteristic one-and-dones. Earlier in the week, West High, the other Torrance school, getting their shot at a playoff run. They enter the Division III bracket as a Bay League at-large team, a road game to take on Lancaster, and they can't break the seal, losing a close one 6-5. So with that, the Tartars, the Saxons, and the Warriors all extending their season into the playoffs, but unable to make a run. Torrance will be following travel teams and summer ball to get our fix of local Torrance fast pitch now until next year. In more postseason action, this time at the CIF Southern Section Track and Field Finals, a couple Torrance athletes with strong showings to represent the South Bay. Danielle Shanahan always finding a way to put Bishop Montgomery on the map. She mixes it up with Redondo's squad, cheering on the Seahawks and sitting with them as the Knights representative. She finishes just behind Redondo's 1600 champion, Kayla Farron. She's less than a second behind Farron for the Division III title in that race, but that didn't stop her from taking home the Division III championship in the 3200, blowing away the rest of the field. South High's Kimberly Kosha, another Torrance champion in the 3200, she turns in a time of 10 minutes and 39 seconds to punch her ticket to next week's Masters event. Okay, everybody, the only athletes we've got continuing their seasons after this week so far are in individual events, but one squad is still left standing in all this CIF madness. I'll let you know who they are on the baseball field this week, but if you want to find out, you'll have to come back after the break.
There are thousands of dogs and cats housed in shelters that need your help. Local shelter professionals and volunteers give their heart and soul to help unwanted animals and deserve your support. Americans give millions every year to national animal organizations, but unless you give to your local shelter, you can't be sure that money will make it to the pets that need it most. Adopt, volunteer, and give to your local animal shelter. To find your local shelter, go to humaneforpets.org.
Every day, thousands of people suffer from sudden cardiac arrest. Would you know how to help? Or would they be all alone? Learn what to do at heartrescuenow.com.
If I ride, I will know the way the trees smell after the rain. I will grow a heart so strong that hospitals will take Tuesdays off. If I ride, road rage will turn into laughter, and oil tankers will haul chocolate milk. And I won't be a boy or a girl. I will just be a rider.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Last but certainly not least, this week we take a visit to the ballpark to check in on some of the CIF playoff baseball action. By far, of all Torrance school sports, baseball teams had the strongest showing come time for CIF tournament action, with 4 of the 5 prep schools earning postseason bids. Of course, that's not to say it didn't take some serious madness to get here. At West High, the Warriors won their 2nd consecutive El Segundo preseason tourney. Should be a good omen. Only last year, when the Brown and Gold won the tournament, they failed to even make the playoffs come May. This year looked to be a little different. For a while at least, until the 9-1 Warriors became the 10-9 Warriors by the middle of April. Losing 4 of their first 6 Bay League games to follow that up, things starting to look a little bleak, but they turned it all around and finished tied for 2nd in the Bay League. Meanwhile, in the Pioneer League standings, well, it was just as much of a headache. The North Saxons took early control of the league standings, but even with that, they ended up the odd man out of a 3-way tie for first come May. The Torrance Tartars seemed all but lost for a while until they rolled out a 7-game winning streak, 6 straight in the Pioneer League to put themselves right in the thick of it all. And the South Spartans, probably the least stressful team to follow this spring simply because there were no dramatic dives or dips in the standings, no crazy losing streaks or phenomenal winning streaks, but of course, that's forgetting to mention the fact that the entire Pioneer League standings rode on the backs of the Spartans, needing to sweep El Segundo in order to knock off the first place team and create not just co-championship for the Pioneer League crown, but a tri-championship in the Pioneer League between South, Torrance, and El Segundo. All that, and the Spartans were the only team in all of Torrance to get a surefire seed in the CIF playoffs. All that, and after 1 week of playoff baseball, there'd be just one team left standing.
For most coaches, there's really no way to prepare your team for the CIF playoffs. Young teams fold under the pressure, while teams chock full of underclassmen fail to step up. For South, the Pioneer League champs, thanks to a 3-way tiebreaker, This type of atmosphere has become the norm.
We've been playing playoff baseball for the past 4 weeks. Coaches prepared us very well, and we've been playing our best baseball when it counts, so it's definitely helped us out.
We've been playing pressure-packed games, man, for 3 weeks, so there was no nerves on these guys' part. They were confident, had a great week of practice, and I was really proud of them coming through today.
Every facet of the game was controlled. The offense put 7 runs on the board. Defense made diving stop after run and catch. But the conversation of domination starts and ends with pitcher Matt McGollin.
He's going to throw strikes and get outs, and that's just exactly what he did. He got in a nice groove. That's exactly what he's done all year, and it's what he did again today.
Mogo gave up just 1 hit in 6 innings of work, throwing a no-hitter the 2nd through the 6th. And the Spartans backed him up on the field.
It's always good as a pitcher to know your defense has your back. So you just go with those strikes, and as they keep making plays, you keep throwing more strikes, and it shows.
The scoreboard tallied up what South showed on the field, a 7-2 victory over Estancia. And with each win, the Spartans' confidence grows.
Our pitching staff has done a great job all year long. I mean, I think they were about 2.3, 2.4 as a staff. So we're not giving up a ton of runs. They're definitely confident with McGollin out there, but I think that we're confident throwing anybody out there at this point. Yeah, we get more confidence every time we come out and win. Get more runs, make better plays on defense, and just keep advancing. It always builds more confidence.
This year's South squad carries itself with a swagger reserved for perennial champs. But the truth is, it's been 3 years since the Spartans last sniffed the postseason. Now that they're back, they don't want to leave.
We think we can go the whole way. We honestly believe that we can and achieve the goal of getting the ring. We got a chance, man. We got a great chance. We got good pitching, and our D's solid, and right now I think our hitting's really coming along. I think we're ready to make a good run. We'll see how far we can take this thing.
See what happens, but if we keep pitching and hitting, playing defense like this, who knows?
So huge win for South High there, a convincing one for a team that hasn't seen the postseason for 3 years, now looking to make a deep run. The Spartans continue to ride the arm of their ace, McGollin. He adds to his double-digit win season with a 1-hit gem. That 1 hit, an infield single nonetheless. Things starting off a little rough though. Estancia scored in the 1st inning from that infield single to take an early lead. Then, Mogo shut him down after his team answered back in the bottom half. He allowed just 1 base runner from the 2nd through 5th inning, and the Spartans cruised their way into the 2nd round. This week, a road trip to play Northview. So, how did our other Torrance squads fare in the 1st round of the playoffs? Well, it was just as dramatic to start the postseason as the regular season turned out. The Tartars pulled off a wild card round win on the arm of Kyle Smith. Smith shuts down St. Bonaventure, allowing just 2 hits in a complete game effort to propel the Tartars into the 1st round of the playoffs. He starts off the day by striking out the side, then on the back end of the game, retired the final 7 batters en route to a Torrance's 3-2 victory. That set up a 1st round playoff game against San Dimas. The last time the Tartars faced San Dimas was for the CIF crown at Angel Stadium in 2009. That game in 2009, 4-2 in favor of San Dimas, and the Tartars find themselves on the wrong side of this one again, 7-1 the score here. As for the Saxons, even standing on the outside looking in at all the madness that determined a Pioneer League champion, they still earned themselves an at-large bid for the playoffs. Their wildcard opponent, La Habra, and their fate the same. A lopsided 9-2 loss in wildcard play, leaving the South Spartans and the El Segundo Eagles the sole representatives of the Pioneer League heading into this week's 2nd round of the CIF playoffs. And of course, we didn't forget about the West Warriors. After all they endured this season, fighting back to get themselves into the playoffs with that 2nd seed in the Bay League, their reward is a road trip out to face Diamond Bar. The Warriors are blanked in a low-scoring affair. They only allow 3 runs, but Joey Notch's triple, the closest West can get to breaking the seal in the shutout loss. So, the South Spartans, after all that, the last men standing in the hunt for a CIF championship. No more volleyball, no more softball, and no other baseball teams left. Of course, we've got some track athletes and others making noise around the South Bay sports scene, but as far as team sports go, Spartans are our last squad to watch. Okay, folks, this is going to do it for us today. As always, feel free to reach out and fill us in on what you're up to here in Torrance, or just let us know how we're doing on the show. Always enjoy hearing from the good people of Torrance, the sports desk at torranceca.gov. All right, like I said, that's it. We will see you next time. Until then, have a good one.